particularly on the first kind of official international of the tour.
Yes, and this man here, McMullen, can be so effective. Doesn't really bowl in T20s. Format, and you see straight away Matt Cross is keeping up to the stumps as expected. Oh, that's carved away nicely. Really giving the crowd something to cheer about. Just over-pitched, a bit of width. We do see this employed. So Matt Cross up to the stumps, making sure McMullen, who does ready, 2 slips in as well. Be hunting that outside edge. Cross, a very good keeper. Cricket. Take some really good catches too, standing up to the stumps, which off the medium paces is pretty much as for a keeper. See there, just making sure his presence is felt behind the stumps. Looked good with the bat earlier, McMullen, but as Lenny has pointed, inside edge. We saw a few of those in the Scotland innings.
Every run's going to be cheered. Really, maybe 5 to 1 they're outnumbered, 500 to 100 what I'm calling it, although plenty still getting their luncheons in at the moment. Yeah, you would suspect that for Nepal, just keeping in this game, staying alive in this contest, not losing early wickets. Good diving, tumbling stuff. There is runs out there. They can't afford to lose any early wickets in this chase. End of the second, it's 8 for none. Look at the points table. Opening the batting out there, Arif will come in the middle order, no doubt about that. But for the points table, that is the current state of League 2. Plenty of questions about the format. And all 8 sides play 36 ODIs across the 3-year cycle. In the last cycle, the first edition of it, it was much more abridged because of the COVID pandemic. This time, it's, if anything, a bit more simple. All of the 8 teams, it's been expanded to 8 with the Super League now being no more for the moment and Netherlands dropping down. Other change was Canada being replaced, or Canada replacing Papua New Guinea, who lost their status. And it means that that's 12 per year. And the way that those 12 per year are made up is 1 home tri-series and then 2 away tri-series. Series you play 4 ODIs in, so it's 12 ODIs per year. The slight quirk of fate of scheduling for this season, though, Mel, has been because the ground has been renovated. Usually Nepal would start their season in February with a home tri-series, and that's what they did. They started the tournament last year in 2024. But because the team, though, a gap to try and get those renovations moved in a big way, and it means that they'll play their home series later in the year in November. It means they've had to wait all the way till here in June. We're now into the British summer in theory to get the season underway for them. They'll then have tours of the United Arab Emirates, which will be followed almost immediately by a home tour. That'll be late October and then November for those 2 series. But ultimately, with this on the table, Mel, and 12 games to play this year, this is whipped into the legs. Simmons are going to love every second of that. Oh, he wants a little bit of foot.
That's outstanding.
Favourite of the Super Prashim Royals. Hold on, Brando, I've got to get a photo.
Brilliant.
Whipped into the leg side again. Might be the same result. It's pretty short out there, only 60 metres square. What's this fan going to do? He says, okay, back you go. Don't want to tease you too much. They're dancing up on the grass banks, loving every second.
And that is part of the ground where the ball outfield slopes away. So the ball does tend to travel pretty quickly. But once it just struggling a bit with his line, just a couple of balls that were too straight, bowled a couple of wides in his first over, Sharif. Comical.
Just a different role from the 16 for a good bright start for Nepal. That's the points table there again, Mel. So if you look at the current state of play, obviously it's far too early to make any and not a great tour down in Namibia either, where it was difficult with the weather. And Namibia, who took a critical win on the final game down in Windhoek. You've never seen a one-off win celebrated as a Mares after a difficult patch for them. And with UAE's troubles in this format, well, the league, it's a ruthless league, isn't it? Because there's no easy games.
No, there's no easy games. And there is context for everything. There is time for those teams to dig themselves out of trouble, but for some of them, they are a long way back. I just feel like teams like Scotland to motor on now. And you would expect the teams like Scotland and Netherlands to be pushing USA out at the top of the table.
Gorgeous. Sumptuous drive. Elegant and easy on the eye, isn't he? Asif Sheikh doesn't try to overhit and just presses and punches it through the covers for 4.
Yeah, it's a really bright start. We did talk about the fact that it was perhaps a more workman-like bowling attack, but on that occasion he's not really on McMullen. Just offering width. This time goes the other way. Few too many 4 balls being bowled by Scotland early on in the innings. Richie Berrington's just have a chat with McMullen as they walk back to the top of McMullen's mark. Just wondering what that plan is. There was quite an extended discussion that just went on then.
No ball. Yeah, Brandon McMullen at his pace reads that is. Big cheer in the crowd, and particularly with the field unable to change because the same batter is on strike. He can't even dance down the track because remember he can't be stumped. This could be fireworks. Here comes the free hits. We'll have to rebowl.
It's interesting. I mean, we did see the ball swing a little in the early overs by Nepal this morning, but after a few hours of play, this second innings, it doesn't seem to be doing much.
Free hit number 2. That's going to be slashed away for 4. Fantastic start for Nepal. They're showing that they have every intention of getting themselves into this chase. It's 27 for none.
Absolutely delighted at this start from their players. Reason 2, it's another expensive over.
Famous chants of Nepal not ringing around the TU in Kathmandu, but here at Forfarshire in Dundee. Joyous scenes up there. How long will it last for those Nepal fans is the question. Can they continue this good start? Been really interesting, isn't it, Mel, to look at the first 11 that Stuart Law's gone with. This is the new era, new head coach in place. He hasn't changed much. He really hasn't. Maybe the one big call, and that might have been more made by the selectors than him, was no Kushal Malla for this tour. Arjun Saud, the other one to miss out from the last tour, that was the tour of Texas. But really, it's kind of maybe just the decision not to go with Lalit Rajbanshi was the surprising one. He put that down to conditions. I think that will change. I think he'll come in. And no Anil Kumar Sah, who's struggled on this preparatory tour of the UK. But really, this is kind of the tried and tested 11 that we would have expected.
Yeah, and that's interesting that we talked about the 52 players who took part. Well, a sort of competition that was put together to see what depth was there in the country. 4 sides, 4 different colours. They mixed experience with young players coming through, and at the end of that, they've ended up with almost the same setup for the final 11 as they did before. That's not the only reason they had that core camp as well. It's to give him, Stuart Law, a real idea too of just the talent that is out there more broadly and what depth he's got to rely on as this league continues.
Cut away, deep third, we'll keep that to just a single. Yeah, there's one other subtle change, and that's the change of the fact that because Anil Sah's left out of the side, it means Kushal Bertel returns up the order. There was an experiment, and I'm not sure it was the most successful experiment of Kushal Bertel batting down the order. It feels like the man from Butwal is much more suited to playing up at the top of the order, where he basically played his entire career. But it started with the Tour of Canada, where they stuck him down at a variety of positions. He batted once at 4, once at 5, once at 6. And then I think he batted once at number 7 as well, if I'm right.